challenging part of being a dad. It's a very important part, and I think that you've got to be aware of that all the time.
Well, being a role model can seem to be quite a daunting experience, but it's actually more straightforward than you think.
I think the best role models are probably parents and family.
My mum is my rock. She's like been there for me throughout everything, and she's been a really good role model.
We should accept that we can learn things from our teenagers, and because we're older doesn't necessarily mean that we're right.
Like I say, as a dad, I think you're a role model whether you realise it or not. So it's a case of, if you do realise it and getting more dads to realise it, you can start to think about exactly what are they demonstrating in the behaviour, and how they're looking in their outlook and everything.
So I do some stuff with my boys now, and I think back, like, you know what I mean, that's how my dad used to do it.
It's difficult though as well, isn't it? You know, you've got to be thinking all the time what you're saying, what you're doing. You're the role model, you're the one they look to, and if you behave like that, then you're giving them the green light. Instead, like you say, it's difficult to say, don't do that, and then they turn around and you do it.
I've known people who've had a negative role model, but then gone completely the other way and say, I am not going to be that, and then that affects their parenting style itself.
A lot of dads, I think, fall down because you don't get involved with the kids. You don't take them do like a hobby together or something fun that they can have, or get into sport. You know, you sort of leave the kids to sort of, you know, go and find your own sort of thing, and they can get into all sorts. I think
it's like you go up to him, you're like, you know what I mean, if there's something bothering you, you can always tell me. Don't be afraid that, you know, you got to bottle it up.
We should try to avoid being critical of our teens' choice of clothes, friends or role models, because you want to empower them to inform their own impressions of the world.
For boys, like, they look up to, say, footballers or musicians, and that can have a positive effect and a negative effect as well, because being a footballer or a musician, you could think, right, I don't want to be in gangs, I don't want to get stabbed, shot, drugs, none of that, I want to be like them.
I think it's good for any young person to have a positive role model, but I think it's also important to encourage them to be their own person and be themselves and make their own decisions.
you're the one they look to how they should behave as they grow up in society, and if you're giving them the right signals, then hopefully most of the time they'll make the, like Jason says, they'll make the right choices. I try and expose my lad to loads of stuff, perhaps too much maybe, because he goes swimming and boxing, and I've said to him, you know, do you want to learn? I'll try and get him into, if he wants to learn to play guitar, but I don't think I'm overloading him at the moment. It's like, no.
You can draw back on your own experience as well, can't you? When you were younger and when you got no idea where, especially when you're a teenager, what I don't know what I'm going to do, I don't know that. So if you're given those chances, where then you can start looking at the things, and then you start seeing what they like, and you start seeing the skills and the attributes that they've got, and then you can encourage that, and it helps them along that path.
Well, can I just quote my favourite saying? Every dad is every child's superhero.
My mum's sister, she was my biggest role model. I always looked up to her because she went to school, she went to college, and then I actually saw her graduate when I was at school, and I looked at that and I was thinking, Mum, that's what I want to do. She goes, well, work hard and you can do it, so that's what I did.